Hey everyone, Chris here from Realridesharestories. If you're new to the channel and you're looking for different things within the rideshare industry, whether it's news, tips, or tricks for passengers or drivers, or what actually happens on real rides, make sure you start off by hitting the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. All right, it's really late right now. I just got home, but I was looking through some of the different things, news articles on Uber, and wow, could this be the ending of Uber? Is it in its final steps? Um, it's pretty amazing. New Jersey slammed. What's up, Mayhem? What's going on? So New Jersey just slammed Uber with a $640 million fine for misclassifying drivers as independent contractors instead of employees. So it's not just California anymore. It could now be something pretty big, and other states could follow. There's already looks at legislation for something similar to AB5 in New York, which is the state I'm in, and I'm not real happy about that. I also saw Oregon, and maybe other states out there. But Jersey, yeah, they just slammed them with $649 million fine. What's up, Lisa? Yeah, it might be ending. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, their stock is going to take a tumble more than likely tomorrow with the news of them having this big fine. Whether it happens or they fight it, that'll be seen. But yeah, Uber is, they're not looking good when it comes to certain things like that. So yeah, I mean, you already have one state that could classify drivers as employees with AB5, which is California. And we'll know more once, January 1st hits and a few other days. But yeah, other states are going to be looking at that and seeing what other states are doing. So yeah, New Jersey just hit them. What other state could hit them? And that's essentially going to take and hit their bottom lines all over the place. So if that's just one state and they're fining them $649 million, and New Jersey, let's face it, you got a pretty good population there, but it's not a big state. I mean, something like New York State, which has a lot more people in it, especially something like New York City, and if they follow suit in the same type of way, that could be huge. What's up, Dustin? You just moved here, yeah. You might be getting screwed. It'll be pretty interesting. I'm waiting to hear what you got to say if you go live on that. But yeah, I mean, obviously you're in the States, so you might have a little bit more insight maybe onto what they're doing and what they're talking about. But yeah, it's pretty interesting for sure, seeing what's going to happen. New York City has their own rules due to the TLC, so they have a minimum wage in line, but New York State is actually looking now at legislation for whether they're going to reclassify drivers as employees or have the possibility of it. There's nothing really in the written or introduced that I know of, but they're looking at it and they're talking about it. So if they're talking about it, something's going to be on the books pretty soon. Yeah, exactly. Damn Cuomo. Oh, sadly you don't. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it'll be pretty interesting to see though. Like I said, I mean, 650 or roughly $650 million. That is taking a huge chunk. And if you ever look at their quarter losses when it comes to what they're reporting quarterly, I think it was their first quarter that they went public. I think it was something like right around that mark, maybe like 500, 600 million in the hole or something like that, in a deficit. So, that, I mean, obviously they're operating and what they're recording is much different. But when you take a $650 million payout or payoff to pay off fines or whatever, if they do that, because if they don't, they could get more and more and more interest paid. I mean, they could fight it. Let's face it, they're going to fight it. They're going to say, oh, our drivers are independent contractors. They're not employees. But that also could open the door for New Jersey to go one-on-one with the company and say, hey, look, you are misclassifying the drivers. Now we're going to classify them as employees, and now you have to start, whatever that might look like as employment. So it could also be a way around doing AB5, and maybe the state takes Uber to court to do something like that. It could be something. Yeah. So now you're going to get transferred out of this state. Uber will take it on me with the activation. Hey, you know what? They are giving drivers second chances at Lyft. You might want to go that route, because so far they haven't said anything about Lyft receiving some sort of fine either when it comes to it. This is only Uber from the articles I read. I looked this up, just Google Uber News. It's like the first thing that pops up. I looked up the New York Times articles. So yeah, you might be able to. Uber's 2601. Yeah, it's going to probably go down with it, but Uber, now you get yours. Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens, for sure. Sorry, I've been driving all night. I just got home. So pretty interesting. Lawsuit has been filed in California. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I'm sure there's probably going to be a few that are in just the terminology of it. What's up, Nicole? How's it going? What's up, Driver Rich from Philly? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm actually surprised. There's a lot of East Coast people I see on here right now. It's what, 2 in the morning or something like that. I don't even know what time it is. Moved to upstate New York. Yeah. Hey, I'll second that. It's pretty good up here so far, but like I said, who knows? There could be legislation on the table to challenge. Okay, 1:30. Yeah, I don't even remember what time it is. I just lost track. But yeah, what do you guys think on that? Do you think this could spell the end of Uber, especially if this is just one state? Imagine if other states start doing it. Like I said, New York State, they love their taxes, and they could try to hit Uber with some sort of fine as well too, especially something with the size of New York City, where you have millions upon millions of people who are there. What would that look like in fines? Could that reach in the billions? And again, that's just one state. So if other states start trying to get their take and trying to get their own thing, what would that look like when it comes to Uber? Will they be able to hold their own, or are they going to flop? What's going to happen here? You've been saying for a while that they are going sell and not let anyone know. Well, what's his name? That one guy just sold $700 million of his stock, Uber stock, or I think it's 700 million. Whoop, hold on. Uber immediately. Yeah, Dustin moves to Jersey. Uber immediately gets fined. Interesting point. You work in New York City, all receipts show taxes taken out on a separate line. Yeah, that is true. It's the same thing in New York, in upstate New York, Robert. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but this isn't I think that's sales tax. This is New Jersey is fining Uber $649 million for misclassifying drivers as independent contractors instead of employees. So there's this tax that they're saying is the unemployment tax, as well as state income tax that isn't paid by Uber because they're misclassifying their employees. So yeah, they do say, or Uber states that they are drivers are independent contractors, not employees. But the state is seeing other than that. So that's what it is. The sales tax is a whole different tax when it comes to it. So yeah, you get that. You get half that lawsuit. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, and that's another thing. $650 million fine. Who's going to get that? Because it sure as hell isn't going... What the... Hold on. I got to restart my car. Because it sure as hell isn't going to be the drivers that are going to get that. No, that's going to go into the pockets of the state itself. So that's going to not benefit drivers in any way, at least from what I see. It's Dustin's fault. Come on, it's not Dustin. I mean, look at Florida. They haven't started anything. Yeah, you see this, Dustin? You see it? Yeah, wage tax on unemployment. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy what's going on. Now, it's also interest that hasn't been paid over 4 years, so they are retroactively doing this for the last 4 years. So I don't know if that's when Uber and Lyft originally started in Jersey, was 4 years ago or not. But yeah, that's kind of what they're looking. If you want to watch the article, or I'm sorry, read the article firsthand, just search Uber gets hit with $650 million fine. I read the New York Times article, and it talks about that, the breakdown of what it is with the interest included. So it's pretty interested there. With Uber Pro, who needs stock options? Yeah. Hey, you get your free cookie or whatever it is right now. I just saw the my little thing for that. Hey, get your free cookie. Whoop-de-doo. Oh yeah, it's gonna drag out in court. If you Google or Uber, Travis. Yeah, you know, Travis is not being stupid right now. He probably seen this coming. Now the question is, could that be some sort of insider trading by dumping your stock if you know what's coming? So, hey, that'll be an interesting little thing. Bring that up to the SEC. It's expected further rate cut. Yeah, we'll see what happens. All I know is I'm sure we're probably going to see pay cuts decrease, and we're going to see what passengers pay increase to maybe what taxis pay. Who knows? Will Uber actually pay the fine? Or you know, they're probably going to some sort of way try to finagle out of it. First by saying that no, they're not independent. I'm sorry, that they're not employees, that they're independent contractors. Where the state then could open up maybe a possibility of having a case saying, well, we're going to reevaluate that and kind of do what California did last year. I think it was against Dynamax or whatever, where they misclassified employees. And that's where the whole thing with AB5 actually started, was from that court case, because the court system uses a certain way to determine if a person is actually an employee versus an independent contractor. So it's a pretty interesting thing all the way around. I'm not a lawyer. I just kind of go by what I see and look at the possibility of different things, because there could be quite a few different things going on. Losing billions, so it's common knowledge. Yes and no. They first out have to pay out their investors, so over the next couple quarters, that's where a lot of their losses are. So it's going to be anybody who had stock options before the company went public, if they had stock in the company, and then just the investors themselves. So it's a big payout over the next couple the last 2 quarters plus probably the next 2. So you're going to see these massive losses of what it looks like. But depending on how the books are, you know, they're also just following suit like Amazon, like Walmart, so they don't have to pay taxes when it comes to how they, you know, cook the books, I guess you could say. That's a whole different way of people doing business and how they record everything, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's going to look like they're losing billions, maybe $1 billion or whatever, but they're really not. It's just the way that they make the books, and a couple of things. Yeah, their stock is going to drop, and it has. I mean, I don't even think they've I don't think Uber has ever gone above their stock since it debuted at their IPO. I don't even know. But yeah, it's pretty crappy. Yeah, it's not California. They're bringing it for, yeah, exactly. And that's the whole other thing. Like I said, New York's looking at legislation like California. Oregon's looking at it. New Jersey's fining it. So that opens the door. The question is, will they survive this? Will they evolve? Will they adapt? I mean, rideshare is an amazing concept, but they fucked it up. Let's be real. They really did. You know, all of this thing where they say, oh, drivers aren't getting what they deserve, you know, by all these pay cuts. And that's exactly what it is. It's, you know, when you were making $2.15 a mile or so, you're getting 80% of the fare. And now you're getting maybe 50% on a good day. You're getting maybe 50% of what Uber Lyft is taking. And, you know, you're getting, I don't know, anywhere from 30 cents a mile in some areas to maybe $1. I think $1.05 or $1.10 is the highest in certain markets, where the average, from what I see, is usually between 60, 70, maybe 80 cents. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Subtle. Yeah, we'll see. Uber's a joke. They do whatever they want, pay. Yeah, pretty much. He might have gotten ready. He might be going live right after me. Who knows? Because we were picking on him. Nah. He knows. He's laughing at it. Nah, he's probably, I don't know. I mean, he's got kids. He could be sleeping. He could be doing his own videos, own research. Who knows? I mean, it's pretty big topic for sure. Survived the 80-20. You know what? They probably, all right, I don't know, because I don't know the operation of their company, but they were probably doing pretty decent with the 80-20 split, because you were running, you know, technology. The only thing you had to do was, you know, update the apps, make sure they were working properly. And then, you know, once you started hiring more and more people, they just, I think, grew too big too quickly. And so they just did these massive hirings instead of kind of figuring out how to run the company effectively. Could they go back to something like an 80-20, or even maybe like a 70-30 and be profitable? Probably. They probably could do it. It's just running your company right and getting the right people in to evaluate what's necessary, what's not. And that's why you saw so many layoffs the last few months. You saw huge chunks of people getting laid off because, you know, the company can't survive because, like I said, they grew too big too quick and they didn't know what to do. So all they did was start hiring people, saying, oh, we need to hire this amount of people, and kind of take it from there. So yeah, it's pretty interesting there. When there's a story, he doesn't sleep. That is true. I've seen him go live around this time at certain times. So he might be doing something too. Like I say, he might be just waiting until I get off, so he can do something and say something. Just because, yeah, like I said, it is pretty big news. It's pretty interesting. They'll never go back to percentages. No, they won't. Rate increases, I don't see that either. I don't know. I mean, the only thing they could is if states start getting involved and say you have to increase in the market or something, where they actually step in. Other than that, yeah, I don't really know. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. But what a shame. Yeah, I mean, that Lisa, you're right, 100%. You know, rideshare, a great concept, amazing concept. You know, you're pairing people who want to drive with people who need rides, and you know that's a huge problem that now Uber and Lyft are going to face, is that they fucked up pretty good, and you know, make these pay cuts and keep rolling back and keep rolling back, and you know, it's going to get big. And you know, there's a lot of people who have voices these days, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, Facebook. There's a lot of people out there, and you know, here's the thing: states are looking at it too, because they're losing out on money. You know, I always said AB5 is not really necessarily for the driver. It could screw the company and make drivers maybe make more money depending on how they roll it out. But the state gains, or the state is expected to gain $5 to $9 billion in additional tax revenue just in California by this AB5 legislation. So yeah, it's not necessarily looking out for us as drivers. It's looking out for what's lining their state's pocketbooks for whatever reason. Yeah, Lyft stock's at 42. It's been higher. What's my name? Chris. My name is Chris, yes. But thank you, welcome. Their stock is better. Yeah, it's been better. They've actually kind of rebounded a little bit. Also, again, this is I haven't seen that I haven't seen Lyft getting fined either. I don't know if they're looking at it the same way, if they're, you know, whatever it is. What I saw in that article is that this is Uber only. So yeah, it's maybe going to be another fine that's going to come soon from New Jersey. If they did Uber, Lyft might follow. Who knows? It'll be pretty interesting to see, though. But yeah, like I said, $649 million fine in wage taxes and unemployment tax, plus some ridiculous amount of money. I think it's 119 million in interest, and the rest is, I think it was the 537 or something like that, or 538 million is in the taxes and the missed taxes, and the rest is interest. So pretty interesting for sure. You think he thinks Lyft's overhead is lower? It could be, yeah. I mean, that's the huge thing. That's one of the big problems, probably why they changed the split. Besides greed, is the overhead was just absolutely insane when it comes to Uber. Uber's trying to make changes safer for the driver. Yeah, they actually are. There's a couple of things. I mean, it's pretty interesting what Uber is doing recently towards the drivers, and I was actually going to do the video tomorrow was going to talk about that. So make sure you stick around and watch that tomorrow, because that's what I'm going to kind of cover there. But yeah, I mean, it could be something like too little too late. And you know, like I said, a few years ago when I first started, you know, you were making a decent buck at this. I think I was in Charlotte, and I think it was like 205 or something like that. I don't remember. It's 4 years ago. So I don't really remember. But yeah, you were making a lot better of a bank back then. And then they did those changes, and yeah, it screwed people over, and all the new people flooding in because they're like, oh yeah, I can make some extra money doing it. And sure, you can go out. I mean, I was out for a few hours and I made a pretty decent buck still. But you know, if we had the old wages and the old way of doing it, that would have been double or so. Actually, probably a little over double, including having multiplier surge versus flat rate, because I got hit with a couple of flat rate surges tonight. Not really the best. So start looking at logistics of rider complaints. Yeah, that absolutely, they have to. 100%. Can't win in California. Uber's stupid. They should have given the money to drivers. 100%. Yeah. I don't think they'd be in this situation if they didn't screw over the drivers to begin with. Where am I? I'm in upstate New York, Western New York, Buffalo, Niagara. That's where I am. So if you're in Philly, that's what, a 6-hour drive. So not too far. But yeah, no, I'm based in Western New York, right in the awesome area of Buffalo where it is cold and snow has fallen and I don't like it. Just singing that tune 30 minutes ago. Somewhere over the rainbow, Uber dies. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, like I said. You know, Buffalo, nice. Okay, cool. Hey, if you ever stop by when you're going through to Toronto, you know, let me know. Stop by, hang out for a little bit. But it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I got to be up at 8, so I am signing off now. Hope you guys have a great rest of the night or afternoon or evening or wherever you guys are. There's a lot of people, though, I know that are East Coast, so not sleeping, which is pretty cool. But you guys have a great rest of the night. We'll see you soon. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications for all of our upcoming videos. Like I said, tomorrow's video is on some of the changes that Uber is making that seem to be actually in the driver's benefit. So I'm going to kind of talk about that. But yeah, have a good night, everybody. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time.